Hello, everyone. It's Wednesday again. Welcome, guys. Tonight, we have a special topic and a special treat, a special guest. I want you guys to, and I didn't put this guest on the flyer, so you guys are going to be really surprised who it is. So what I want to do is I want to take a few minutes. First of all, how you doing? How's your day? Hopefully everybody's had a good day, a good week so far. We're at Hump Day again. Please share and invite with your friends and family. We have a good topic tonight about are you hurting the person that you're in a relationship with when you argue with them? A lot of times we don't realize that we're hurting the person. So we're going to talk about that. So I'm going to take about 30 seconds to make sure everything is going where it's supposed to go. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope, and I'll be back in 30 seconds. So stand by, and on the other end, we're going to get the show started.
Okay, everybody wants good love, that's true, I know. Derrick Jones about to break it down with the relationship gumbo. Welcome to the podcast. Ain't no doubt we all need this, ayy, cause better relationships need better ingredients, ayy. So if you want better relations, it's about communication, finding love, staying together. We all wanna make it better, yeah. Derrick Jones the host, your relationship coach. Thank you all for tuning in. Relationship gumbo, ayy.
Welcome back, everybody. Look, I have a co-host tonight. This is my daughter, Sydney. She's 11, and she's going to help me out with the topic tonight. She said she wanted to be on my show, and so I was like, who am I to tell her no? So make sure you share and invite this with your friends and family. If you are here for the first time, normally the way this goes, it's a live podcast recording, so I'll pause for 3 seconds. I'll start the podcast, and then at the end of the podcast, I'll pause for another 3 seconds, and we can speak more freely if we need to. During the show, please comment if you have a comment or a question, and I'll address it if it's necessary to the topic. So we're going to start right now. I'm not going to waste your time. Make sure you share and invite. Let me know you're here. Say hello. Let me know where you're chiming in from. So stand by. And welcome to another episode of the Relationship Gumbo Podcast. My name is Derrick Jones, and I am your host. I am a certified life coach, an engineer, a strategist, and a mental health advocate. And tonight we're going to talk about that pain that sometimes that we feel or that we give to others when we argue with them, when we're in a relationship with them. And this could apply in, multiple facets of your life, like friendships or work relationships. But, we talk about more here about romantic relationships and marriages. But we'll talk about friendships a little bit tonight because this little one here, she better not know anything about a relationship, right? We're gonna wait a few years for that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get into this topic, and we're just gonna have a conversation. We're gonna talk about. I have 4 points that I want to make. They're not the only 4 points, but they're very important points that I'm going to make about how arguments really look like under the hood, right? I always want to get into the emotional aspect of how we feel. I just don't want to give you tips on what to do. I want you to understand that everything comes from a place. So 1 second here. I want to make sure I'm getting all the comments here. Anybody that's live, make sure that you that's looking at this live, make sure if you have any questions or comments, feel free. So the first topic that we're going to talk about when we argue, in each one of these 4 topics, I have a title. The first topic is going to be called All Emotions Matter. It's going to make sense in a minute, right? So normally when we argue or we have a disagreement, sometimes we will have a moment where the person that is arguing with you or that has a problem with what you're doing, they'll tell you how they feel. And they'll express themselves. Maybe sometimes it's the right way or the wrong way, but they're expressing how they feel. The person that's receiving that sometimes will do things like we'll say, well, you do that too. It's not just me, it's you too. Other people do that, so I don't know why you're mad about it. And just to give you guys like a real life, real scenario term, when we argue in this way and we're giving pushback when the person is sharing their emotion about what they're upset about, it's like saying all lives matter, right? Think about it. It's like saying all lives matter. the emotions that they feel is worth. You're talking about someone that you love, right? You probably been with them for a while. You owe them the respect enough to listen to what they have to say. And when you listen to what they have to say and listen to understand and not to challenge it, then at some point you'll be able to say your piece. But once you stop them mid-sentence and say, no, you do that too, that's all lives matter. Everybody has emotions, but right now it's about the person that's sharing. So it's about being fair and being open to listening, because once you listen to understand, a lot of times we'll get to a point where it may not even have to be an argument. Maybe you looked at it from your lens and not theirs, right? So you have to look at that. So we're going to ask our co-host a question here. So, so when you have a friend that you have an argument with, and you know that you still want them to be your friend, y'all been friends for a while, how would you resolve it? If they're telling you how they feel, what would you do to try to make it better?
I would try and make it better by talking it out with them.
Right. And so you hear what she said. She said she would make it better by talking it out with them. And so what you have to understand, ladies and gentlemen, is when you talk it out, it's a two-way street. A lot of times we have our own egos and we have things, and I'm guilty of this too, right? This is one of my, I tell you, every show, it comes from a place, right? I still challenge myself with not wanting to get my stuff off too, right? I need to focus and practice patience when it comes to listening, because we're talking about the person that we're supposed to love. There's not somebody off the street. So even when, and we're going to get into some of how the delivery might not be right, but at the end of the day, it's an emotion, right? Even someone that's coming at you with a fervor or anger, it's an emotion. It's an emotional, like they're telling you something. And so you owe it to them to at least hear them out so that you can resolve it. So that's the first one. You can't all lives matter them when they're trying to share. Because a lot of people, sharing is not easy to do, especially, it's a lot of women that find it hard to share emotions, but it's even harder for men. So when you have a man that's trying to share and you say, well, just suck it up and get over it, or, everybody does that. You just shut it down. And what happens when you do that is you create an environment where that person doesn't want to share again, right? So think about that. So the next topic out of the 4 is titled Tone Means Everything, right? It's one of my triggers. Tone, that delivery and that tone and that yelling and all of that. You have to understand when you come at an adult with the tone like that, with an accuser, and don't get it twisted, the person could be wrong, but when you're yelling and screaming and arguing and the tone is really high, it's almost like it's almost like you're their parent. And when you continually do that, that's the box that you fit in now. Because now we're talking about, I love you, you're my, ride or die, blah, blah, blah. Once that person puts you in the nagging mommy box or the nagging daddy box, it's hard to get out of there because that's all they hear, right? So you got to think about that when you are arguing with the person is tone. Because now and if you're in a relationship where nobody respects the other, you got some other things to work on, right? So you got to really think about tone, because sometimes, and I always teach this to people that I coach, sometimes your tone is the difference between success and failure. Something as simple as your tone, not even what you say, but the delivery means everything, especially when it's someone that you say that you love. And if you know you're not going anywhere, you got to work on that, right? So, Sydney, how you doing?
Hi.
So how do you feel about tone? Does it feel good when your friend is yelling at you and y'all are arguing? How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel upset.
And so do you just say forget it, or do you try to still talk it out again like you said before, or what do you do?
You keep trying to talk it out until it works.
Because you still want to be their friend, right? And hopefully one day you'll figure it out, because you probably know them for a while. And you don't want them to go anywhere. And hopefully they'll be willing to listen to you when you want to talk it out, right? So we're going to leave that there. That one goes without saying, right? No grown adult wants to be talked down to or yelled at. So the premise of this show is, along with these things that I'm talking about comes a certain level of hurt. But a lot of times that hurt isn't told to you. You think the argument is over. That person may not know how to share their pain or feel like they're not in a space where they can share it, so they keep it in, right? So we're going to talk a little bit further about that. So the third one, the title is Love TKO, right? Shout out to Teddy Pendergrass. We are normally in situations when we argue where we're fighting each other, right? And I use TKO for a reason. You know, when a boxer, if you guys are familiar with boxing, when a boxer gets knocked out, right? Or he gets hit to the point where, you know, he hits the floor and he's not used to that. The more he gets knocked out or she gets knocked out, the next time they come in the ring, they might not be as ferocious as they were before. They may not be as confident as they were before, because that knockout it's like muscle memory. Like, you remember what it felt like to be knocked out. And so you are a little apprehensive about engaging someone again, right? Like, boxing is your profession. Your relationship is something that you kind of committed to. And so you keep going into an argument and getting knocked out. You can't even get your words in edgewise. The person is yelling at you. And you, at some point, that boxer's going to give up. And once that other person gives up, it's hard to get them back to that original boxer that they were. It's hard to get that back once you know what that knockout and that pain feels like. Then that person goes in the ring and now they like, whoa, they ducking and bobbing and weaving and they don't even want to get hit again. So they're not going to engage you like they normally do. Like the first one we talked about, sharing your emotions. This person not sharing their emotions no more. Because every time they try, they get knocked out. Leave me alone. I don't want to talk about it. We'll talk about it later. And then later never happens. And that person is hurting and they want to share. That's a knockout punch. That's that pain that we don't see. And your relationship gets built off of this. Your relationship grows off of this. So when you think about how you argue and how you disagree with someone, are you gut punching them over and over and over again? Think about it like this. If you punch someone and they don't react to it, it's something to be said about that. And the person that feels like they've been knocked out enough, whether they right or wrong, it sounds like this. You got it. Don't even worry about it. You good. That's a person that don't want to be knocked out again. So they rather just make it go away. You don't want that in your relationship. You want to be able to have open dialogue. Because remember, this is the person that you love. This is the person that you're with. And y'all ride or die. But you can't talk to them. Think about it. So once you really claim to care, claim to love, it's not about whether you're not going to get mad or not. It's about the end game. You know how they talk about don't go to sleep mad? Well, the only way you don't go to sleep mad is if you sit down and resolve it. But if you're already a 2,000 time knocked out boxer, you don't have the energy to fight back. So you need to start early. And even if you've been in a relationship for a while, you need to clean that slate. And so that segues into the next one. We talk about cleaning the slate. Number 4, last and final one, because I told you I wasn't going to keep you long. It's called stacks on stacks. I'm going to tell you what that means. Sydney Jones, you have anything to add? No. You on the show now, right? That's what you wanted. We here. But you're doing a good job. We're going to get you in at the end. I got some things I want to ask you. So stacks on stacks. So we talked about emotion. We talked about pain. We talked about TKO, getting knocked out and not wanting to fight again. You just want to duck and dodge it now. You don't even want to get hit, right? the pain, and I talk about this a lot, guys, over time, that pain stacks itself, right? You're not resolving it because you're not sharing your emotion. You're not telling the person that your feelings are hurt, right? Because who wants to do that, right? Who wants to say, you hurt my feelings? No, you in a relationship with someone you're supposed to be able to talk to. You can tell them that you hurt. Nobody else in the room but y'all two, right? But you're scared of, right? But then at the same time, a lot of us don't have the tools. Maybe we weren't taught how to communicate. That's why you got your boy here. I got you on that, guys. So when you stack the emotions and the pain over time, you start to lose a little bit of who you are because you're sitting on the pain. So then the next argument is not just about that. It's about all the old stuff. All the old stuff. And now you're fighting a battle that you can't even win. You can't even get your point across because that person is furious about the last 20 things that they held on to. So you're going to have to learn how to manage that. Nobody said don't ever be mad and don't remember it, but you're going to learn how to manage it because you're supposed to be in an effective relationship that you're supposed to be able to flourish and grow, right, over time. So think about that. Are you stacking things from 5 years ago? I know you ladies got a bunch of stacks that y'all waiting to unleash, right? I'm joking. Think about that. What are you holding on to? Are you holding on to it because you're afraid how the partner going to react? That's another red flag. Why are you afraid of how the partner's going to react when you're supposed to love each other? Think about it, guys. If you're going to stay there, you have to make it a peaceful place for you to even argue and be mad in and know on the other end that person is going to be like, you know what? We disagreed. And Michelle Ford is on here on Facebook. I think she had mentioned one time that she saw an Oprah show or something where they were like, you have to be a team against the problem, right? You're not fighting each other. You're fighting the problem together, right? So think about it like that. If the problem is, I'm mad that you didn't take the trash out, then you have to address the fact that the trash wasn't taken out. How are we going to fix this? Are you forgetting? Do I need to put a reminder on your phone? We need to get that in and notice the tone, right? Tone means everything. And I always tell ladies especially, you can get pretty much anything you want with the right delivery. So think about that. Anything you want to add, Sydney Jones? No? So I'm going to leave y'all with that. We wasn't going to have a long show today, but I wanted to make sure you guys had something to think about because I have some other things that I'm working on. And for those of you that are listening on the audio portion and the people that are viewing, I'm going to do a deep dive on this communication thing because I think a lot of us fail here. And I'm going to do, like I'm telling you guys, I'm working on a course, an online course that breaks it down to the white meat. Because we all kind of need a refresher on some of this stuff. We get set in our ways and we hold on to stuff for years and decades, and we don't know how to restart it, how to go back and say, I'm sorry that, you know, we've kind of been at odds all of this time, and we need to work on sharing, emphasis on the word sharing, how this makes you feel. How does it feel when I yell at you? Do you like it when I yell? Because you look a little defeated. And then the other party has to say, yes, it bothers me. It makes me not even want to be here when you do that. That's honest. And then when you receive that, then you know that you have something that you may need to work on. But if you never talk about it, it stacks itself. And then you have a person that's afraid to share. And guess where they got to go to get their release? They got to leave the home to do that. Nobody want that. Think about it. Make a peaceful place that you feel like you can talk, share your emotions. It don't have to be all crying and stuff. Just say, hey, you know what? I did take the trash out, or I did do this that you asked me to do, but you know, when you asked me to do it, it just felt a little, I don't know about that. You got to be able to have those hard conversations in order for you to grow. We're all about growth on this show. So I want you to think about that. Share this with your friends and family. Somebody that, you know, may be a little apprehensive about talking. And I'm going to emphasize this again with the person that you say you love. It's not easy. But it's one of those things where they say, you know, relationships take work, marriages take work. That's part of the work. It's figuring out how to argue, come out of the argument or the disagreement, and still have that same passion and that same love for each other without hurting the person, without jabbing them to see how they're going to react to it, to see if they're going to get mad and all that. Counterproductive. So take that with you. I hope you guys have a good week. Sydney Jones?
Yes.
What you want them to do? Have a great night? Have a good night?
Yes, have a good morning, evening, or night, and stay safe.
That's right. Stay safe. Make sure you wash your hands, wear that mask, do what you got to do, and we will see you next time. Thank you for joining. Make sure that you check out www.relationshipgumbo.net, and we will see you guys next week, same time, same place, with another amazing topic and another amazing show. Have a great day. All right, guys, we are off. So now, Sydney Jones, you did a good job. You didn't have to talk that much. Oh, we're still on. Yeah, we're still on. Yeah, we're about to wrap it up. You did a good job. So, guys, this is what I wanted to tell you on the other side of this. Those of you that are afraid of being on live, y'all have nothing against how nervous Sydney was to get on here. So, y'all grown. So, let's get it in. Because she's going to be back on here. She's going to get more comfortable. I'm going to train her how to produce the show on the back end. And you got to take the little ones and show them a little bit of what you know so that they can, you know, this is the future. I didn't ask her to do this. She asked me, could she do it? And she did. Let me tell you, Sydney don't like to be on camera. Ever. She asked me, could she come on the show like this? And I was like, nope. You got to show your face or you can't be on the show. And she did it. So I'm proud of you. So we're going to get out of here, guys. And we will see you next week. Have a great day. See? Michelle Ford says you did great. See? Hey, Danny. We all got to get back in communication. This COVID has everybody is out of pocket right now. But anyway, guys, we are going to get out of here, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.